Welcome back. We're going to be going into how to manipulate your chart.
Manipulation.
Yes. Oop. All right. So we've got a couple of tools at hand. So first, of course, we already talked about the scrunchie, the X scrunchie, I'll call it. That's time, and we have the auto adjust thing, so it's changing our this axis automatically. Y axis. We can also go here. You can just change it from this button right here to manual. I don't know why you would, but you can. Just leave it on auto. Auto is good. Then we have our scrunchie, our Y scrunchie, to change the appearance of time frame. We have this button that lets us, this magnifying glass with plus and minus, it lets us zoom in and out. I don't personally find that to be helpful at all, but it exists. It's a thing. You have these arrows here that are going to let you, these arrows, sorry, they're going to let you skip through time one candle at a time, which when you're looking at something up close can actually be helpful. I do use this on occasion, these left and right arrows here. Then we're going to get to the tools here. We're going to go to drawing and manipulating your chart. So the arrow here, if you double click, it will automatically reset your chart. And then it lets us go zoom in on a specific section like this. If we go from just left to right like that, we can just zoom in. Now our whole screen is going to be just the section that we selected there. Double click to go back. Scroll back over. Zoom in just on this section like that. And we're just seeing that section. Then if we want to look at a section, that was moving the mouse strictly left to right, like so. And if you don't mean to do this, you can just go back to your starting point until this gray area disappears and then just let go of the mouse. Then if we want to look at an area more closely, we can go from corner to corner, kind of drag diagonally. It should be letting me. Let me go to like 15, 11. Maybe I have to set this to manual for it to do that. Yeah, okay. If I set this to manual, it will let us just pick a very specific area, and now this is all we're going to see on our screen. But I'll just leave that at auto. Which will auto, it will just scale the chart. So if we want to look at this section, now it'll scale the y-axis. Now, if we click and drag, obviously it's just going to select a specific area. If we want to actually drag and move the chart, we go to this here pointer finger looking thing. Kind of looks like it's flipping us off, but it's not. Called the pan tool. You see it says pan. It's a funny shaped frying pan if you ask me, but anyway, that lets us do this kind of action of moving the chart. And if we go to manual again, it will let us go up and down in any direction freely. But I'll go back to auto. Next, this is where we're going to do a lot of our, like the tool that we're going to use for drawing trends. We go to SPX. I'll go first to our pointer tool. Draw this. We'll go to a 20-minute chart. Practice changing our time frame. 20 minutes. Look here. Very nice. Now, we'll zoom in closer. And we'll go here to our next thing, trend line. Here, you click and then go to the next point in the trend that you want to draw. Now, this is where there was a setting that we had seen before where you can have drawings snap to certain points. Where was that? Equity, time axis. Where was it? Price axis. Oh, snap general, sorry. Snap drawings, we can have it say, OHLC is open, low, high, close. So what that means is when we have a drawing tool selected, it will automatically snap that drawing. You can see how I move the mouse and then it goes, oh, it automatically pops the point, the end point of this drawing to the high, open, low, or close of this candle. So it lets us draw very precisely, which can look quite good. So if we wanted to do, let's say this is our pivot low up to this pivot high, then this pivot high to here, pivot low to pivot high to pivot low, and so on. It lets us draw very precisely, which is nice. We can also go here, we can right click on this line, edit properties. And let's say we want by default, we want this type of line that we're drawing to be purple. And let's say we want the line to be dashed and thicker. Then we can hit save as default and hit OK. And now from here on out, now we've saved these settings as the default. Now, by default, our lines will always be thicker and dashed and purple until we change this setting again. Going to edit properties, we can change the name. We'll call it sexy trend line. And here we can say it says show label set to never. We can say always. What that means is it'll show the this stuff here. Oh, that's the excuse me. That's the amount of change, the length of this trend line, change in points, etc. We can also have it say, we can have it display on hover, which means it won't show anything until we move our mouse over it, and then it will say what's in that. That is the basics of the trend line tool. Let me just see if there's anything else. Edit properties. We can add arrows on both ends or one end. If we want to add an arrow, you can do that. Or if we want it to extend onward forever, we can do that. And then it will literally just go on forever. And
I find that to be somewhat helpful when you're trying to just do horizontal lines.
That is true. Like using it, I actually use the Fibonacci. I'll show you how I draw levels with the Fibonacci that I just set up. We can go to remove drawing or duplicate drawing. Duplicate basically is like copy and paste all in one. So if I duplicate it, now I'll have a second one that I can just place anywhere that I want. Now we've created like channels. There's actually a separate channels tool, but you can do it that way if you want to. I'll remove these drawings. Let's see. Price level. Price level is kind of similar idea, but it's basically just going to let us pick. It's going to draw always flat horizontal lines. And here we can go to edit properties. We'll make these white. We'll tell it to show the price on the right. Right extension is on. If I turn that off, what it will do is it'll only draw this to where I click the second point. So from there to where I drop this. Well, I need to set that to default. But now if I turn right extension off, it'll only go to here. If I turn it on, it'll go to the edge of the screen. We can also tell it to show the name. I'll put that on the right. I'll call it. So sometimes I'll do stuff, in all seriousness, I'll put it like short entry at 43.88. And now we'll see here our little note of, oh, this was where we had a short entry. And that's just a way of keeping track, especially with options and other things that don't appear on the chart once they're filled. That's a helpful tool. Time level, same deal, but it just lets us do always vertical lines. Again, we can tell it to not extend to either direction, make it green, and now we're only going to have this vertical line. Time level, I don't know that I've ever really used it, but it's there. Text note, this one I absolutely use. You can just write stuff like, I got in short because of X, Y, and Z. And then we can tell it to put an arrow, and we can put the arrow on the left or the right or the top or bottom. I'll put it on the top, for example. The text goes over the arrow now. And that basically lets us make notes and this will stay on our chart, so we can go back in time and see like our note, be like, okay, that's why this was the reasoning behind a certain decision. This is going to be very helpful early on, especially when you want to remember and take notes of different things that happen, different observations while you're trading. Arrow, pretty self-explanatory. Just drops an arrow. We can change it so that it, by default, is a certain size and points a certain direction. So I'll set it to, by default, point down. That's all there is to it. Oval. This is also something that I use on occasion just to highlight certain areas. Basically, you click once, and then depending on how you manipulate, that's kind of hypnotizing. Depending on how you manipulate it, it draws a circle. And then from here, I have two of them. Right click, edit properties. If we can go to color, it's always going to have kind of lower opacity, like it's see-through. But I can, make it blue, for example. That's very bright. That has a high opacity, but we'll remove that drawing. Let's make it darker gray. I guess the darker the color, the less, like the brighter it appears. That's weird. Let me go to like a very dark. Okay, I made it very, that's kind of nice actually.
I like that.
Yeah. Rectangle. Exactly the same deal. Just a rectangle. You can put notes inside of it, like, can you? No, maybe you can't. You have to add notes separately. Channels. This lets us use, like, I'll go to auto again, and we can say, like, we want here to here. And then once we've selected our endpoint, we draw down, and then we can say, okay, we want this asset to stay inside of these channels, and any deviation from that represents, a breakout against our trend or what have you. The channel tool, I don't personally use it, but it's also a useful one. This one, regression lines. You go from like here. Well, I have it set to snap, so it's going to be a little bit funky, but this one is another one that I literally never use. I don't really know how you use it, if I'm being honest. Regression channel, what does that even do? Oh, okay, this is kind of cool. It automates it, sort of. This chart is going to look so screwed up by the time I'm done with this.
Well, good learning opportunity to use the clear chart tool.
This is true. Fibonacci retracement, this percentage here. This one I actually use prolifically, but not the way that it's intended to be used. So When you draw a Fibonacci, it'll give you a ratio where it's all these different numbers that appear at different things, and no one actually knows what the hell it does. At least I don't. But these are all different ratios. So what I use this for is risk-reward calculation. So let's say that I wanted to have a long entry pick a good spot, or it could be a short entry. Let's put that. All right, right here. I should say this level right here I want to use as a long entry. So I'll click once here at the top of the level, and then once at the bottom of the level. Then if I just uncheck all of these, except 0 and 1, we'll make 0 effectively our entry, and or sorry, 0 is our stop, and 1 is the kind of baseline point. That is our entry point. So we might say at this point, that's where we want to get long. Now, how I used to calculate risk-reward ratio is, let's say I want a 3-to-1 ratio. Here I'll put in the number 4, make a green line, check that box. So now it's 0 to 1, and then 2, 3, 4. And then now this green line is going to be like, that would basically mark, say, okay, that's where we need to have our profit taking order. It'll calculate it for us. Say, okay, here's the number that's going to be taking profit at 3 times the width of this risk. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how I use it, which is not how it's supposed to be used, but it works. Or if I set this to 5, if I want a 4-to-1.
So you basically use it as this is where I'll get out of my position on either end.
Yeah, it's a calculator. It's a risk.
Huh. I've never seen it used that way. I've seen people try and explain Fibonacci, saying, "Oh, they're common levels for stocks to retrace to," which that's the explanation. All those random levels, no one knows what they do. They're common levels they're common levels that a stock will retrace to after a run. But I think that's mostly based on just over time, people's observations of a chart. Important levels.
I'll give the best explanation of Fibonacci possible. This is how Fibonacci actually works. E equals MC times bullshit squared.
It's a psyop.
Yes. Dude, do you know how much these bullshit indicators have profited these brokers? People just like, no, next one, I don't even know if this one does. Let's see.
Well, you can expect a lot of buying at the 20.
You can make it even more complicated Fibonacci, where it starts from one point and goes to another, and then you just drop it exactly where you would have put it anyway. Oh, sure. Look, I click, and I click another point, and it creates Fibonacci that I can just put. Well, I guess it's a ratio of this distance that I just drew here, but whatever.
What are you talking, Fibonacci extension?
I can just put it wherever I want, so what the hell difference does it make?
Yeah.
This is a disaster on this chart. I'm going to have to move over so I don't go crazy looking at it.
Fibonacci extensions.
Let's see. Fibonacci times. Look at all this stuff they have. I don't know what any of these do, guys, for what it's worth. I'm just kind of messing around with the chart and showing you guys how it works. If you know how this works, you're probably smarter than me.
Well, this is the creative method, right? You just, when you get a new program or something, you're supposed
Fibonacci time extensions. What the? Excuse me.
Oh, the time extensions are trippy, dude. I've got no idea what that means.
I have no. See, this is proof here that you can be a dumbass and still be a very profitable trader.
Try the Fibonacci spiral.
Is that a thing? Fibonacci spiral. Oh, good God. Look at that. It's like that little that ratio painting that Leonardo da Vinci made. What the
do?
Is this? Look at that. Well, if maybe we put them like interlocked, we can make the chart so that if you stare at it long enough, you'll start like tripping balls. There, look at this. Look at the power of ThinkorSwim. We're literally turning our chart into an acid trip before your very eyes, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Rosser, this tells me a lot now that you've put so
Look at
many.
this. I moved the mouse to highlight
spirals.
different ones. Oh,
Look, I could have predicted that breakout on Thursday
using your Fibonacci spiral.
Using all of these Fibonacci spirals. I mean, come on. You can't see it? You don't see this? You're telling me that I'm the only one that sees this?
Yeah, I'm not seeing the matrix, my dude. Your perspicacity outstrips mine.
Well,
but look at this. I moved the mouse.
Ability.
Different ones. Look how trippy this gets. Oh, if I do it at the right speed so it kind of matches the frame rate, I can turn this into one of those things that'll make everyone dizzy. Edumacation. Look at that. That is so trippy. What in the hell is this for?
I haven't done my research into the Fibonacci spiral for its.
Yeah. Look, now it's like the entire universe on our chart, or a hurricane, and that's Florida right there.
Why would you ever use this? It just seems like it's one of those things that developers throw into a.
There's absolutely no way that this is helpful. See, honestly, sometimes I actually think this. Being a dumbass actually makes you a more profitable trader, because you don't even bother with this overly complicated crap that doesn't matter. Okay, let's go to Andrew's pitchfork. That was a hurricane.
What the hell is Andrew's pitchfork? See, I like to use the KISS method, Rosser. You know what the KISS method is?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Or keep it stupid, simple. Which one is it? I'm too stupid.
I've always heard it keep it simple, stupid.
Okay. Well, here.
I prefer to do that.
Okay, so with Andrew's pitchfork, we can draw this pitchfork-esque looking thing.
Oh, can you change it so that your risk to reward can be a 3-to-1?
Let's see if you can do that.
Does that just solve your issue? Do a new way?
Yeah, if we add a curve and we make it like a 3 or 4. No, that did not work.
Like, I can't tell what you did based off how many. Right. This is like in Minecraft when you have 800,000 TNTs blowing up all at once. You've got your computer's dying and you've got no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
That's a very dated. I feel like that's a dated.
Oh, it drew it over here for some absolutely inexplicable reason.
Well, that's your 400% line.
Oh, yeah, it is. No, it's 3. It should be 300. So it's from here to here to here. Okay. So here's our trippy hurricane. This is really going downhill in a fabulous way. Oh, they have a Fibonacci fan. Oh, look at this. It's like spotlights. Here, look, I put some spotlights here for this show.
If this section of the class teaches you anything, it's that there are way more tools than what you'll actually need to use in ThinkorSwim.
Amen to that. There are way more tools than you will ever need.
Yeah, so honestly, you could probably get by just using price levels.
No, literally, that's what they're going to learn in the price action section.
Oh yeah, that's how I do it. I use price.
I'm going to use this as the thumbnail for the video.
You should. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen some of those people on FinTwit. They'll just post a picture. It'll be just the most.
It did make it
really destroyed chart
by adjusting the y-axis. It does make it 3-dimensional. That's kind of trippy.
Whoa, man!
Cycle brackets. Let's scroll away from the hurricane. Okay, what does a cycle bracket do? No, that's the fan thing.
You're still doing the fib fan.
Yeah. Oh, Look at that. We can draw some balls. Now there's the. Oh, I know what this is for. It's for, like, in all seriousness, it's like for certain, like, go to like a weekly and we look at the, let's see if this is accurate in any way. I've heard of like one person that used this.
You have to turn the
Can look at
volume
like the difference between like this bottom and this bottom, and then supposedly it'll tell us where the next bottom is. Let's see how accurate that is. Okay, I mean,
it's not horrible.
It's like I just picked like two lows. It's like decently on point, on fleek. And then I guess once you get beyond these points, it kind of starts. Okay, I take it back. We learned something here. We learn something every day. Like that one is really on point. That one's on point. That's on point. That's on point. Okay.
Look at that huge dropout.
That one's completely in the middle of nowhere, but
I think it even hit a peak in the
yeah, okay, there's something to this. Here, this is kind of becoming an undeniable pattern.
I deny it.
This pattern here of these lows matching.
I mean, it's not matching dead on though, right?
Not. Not
sure.
every one, but
it's getting close for
sure.
Seems
to be like that one. These two are off. That one's pretty spot on.
And you are kind of on the weekly chart, so
yeah. I mean, weekly is probably going to be. Let's go to like a 15, or let's go to a 1 minute. That everything's accurate on a 1 minute chart. Oh God, no, never mind. I'm not going to even bother with this. It's going to be a waste of time looking at this. Just chart drawing vomit.
This is horrible.
So this one I'm going to explore more. Then we have quadrant lines. I have no idea what that does. Okay, so it's kind of like fib, I guess. And last we have Dan fan. Oh, it's perfect for Pride Month. Look at that.
Yeah,
We'll put a few on for Pride Month.
It's Roy G. Biv.
See this right here. You know what this is, Austin?
It's a concert with a bunch of lasers.
No. This is the chart that Bud Light's marketing team showed them, explaining their plans.
Oh my God.
Never mind.
Canceled.
Incoherence. All right. Well, now we know how all of these drawing tools work, and now there's a tool here that is remove old drawings older than 21 days. We'll go to 0 days. 1.
It's still not going to remove all the ones you just made.
Is there a way
I think what you really want to do,
I've never given myself this clear drawing set. Yes. Okay, there we go. Clear drawing set. I knew there was a way to do that fast. Okay. This is so relaxing. That was giving me anxiety looking at that chart with all that crap on it. So I think that that's now a pretty good rundown of manipulating the chart and using your drawing tools. Anything you want to add?
Don't let your chart get that cluttered.
Yes. Really, you don't need to use any of these things, generally speaking. They really tend not to be that helpful. They tend to add a lot more confusion than they remove. I don't know if you've seen that picture of it was like a street turning onto a one-way, presumably, and it says it's like it's been painted on the ground. There's a right arrow and a left arrow and a straight arrow, and they're all painted over each other, and it says left turn only, right painted on top of one another.
I don't think
And
I've
it
seen
says
that.
what it's like to trade with indicators, where it's basically telling you to do everything all at once, and it just adds confusion. It doesn't add clarity. So that is, I think, a really good intro to using your chart.
I agree.
You want to do one more?
Let's do one more.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you in the next one.